Trace amounts of harmful forever chemicals are making their way into Colorado waters.
The health advisory is an advisory. It's guidance. It's to let people know the concern.
Sustained levels could have big impacts later in life.
The EPA really is starting to see that this is a true problem.
We look at the steps being taken to keep your family safe.
New details tonight on a deadly police shooting in Inglewood. We have the arrest documents showing the man killed by police never fired at officers.
Plus, it's that time of year again. We have details on when you can get half-price Broncos tickets. And we begin tonight at 6 with our Denver 7 forecast and strong storms producing tornadoes across eastern plains. Twitter user Clay Smith shared this picture from near Burlington of a tornado touching down. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us at 6. I'm Ann Trujillo.
And I'm Jessica Porter. In southwest Colorado, there is a mudslide along the $1 Million Highway near Silverton.
So let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson with our forecast and details. Mike?
We've had some pretty active weather. It's actually calming down a little bit right here at the top of the hour. So this warning will expire in a matter of seconds down to the south and to the east of Denver. There you go. The thunderstorm that was strong over the southwestern part of the metro area has weakened considerably, just producing some rain, a little bit of thunder and lightning from Morrison to Ken Carroll and over toward Lakewood. And that storm is going to continue to slowly weaken, so we're not expecting that warning to be reissued. There are still some active storms out in the eastern plains with a tornado warning in effect for parts of Cheyenne County and a severe thunderstorm warning as well. Lightly populated, but this is the same storm that did produce 3 different tornado touchdowns in Kit Carson County around the Stratton, Bethune, Vona area earlier on this afternoon. And this is what the storm looks like from our Viero camera that is in Burlington looking back toward the south and west. They'll die down. We'll have scattered thunderstorms tonight. A lot more thunderstorms coming up, especially Thursday and Friday. I'll have your full 7-day forecast in about 15 minutes.
Thank you, Mike. Well, Colorado's water supply is being threatened, and no, we're not talking about drought tonight.
We're talking long-lasting forever chemicals known as PFAS that end up in our water. PFAS are widely used and break down very slowly over time. The chemicals are linked to serious health issues such as cancer in both humans and animals. These chemicals are found in water supplies, air, and soil around the nation.
Last month, the EPA reduced acceptable levels of one type of PFAS from 70 parts per trillion down to 0.004 parts per trillion. That equals out to 1 drop in 21 million gallons of water.
And because of that change in regulation, more Colorado cities are warning their residents about PFAS in the water supply.
Denver 7's Megan Lopez looks at the state of our state's water supply and one Front Range city's efforts to protect its residents.
In a letter to residents this week, Thornton said the PFAS levels in the water are a concern, but not a crisis. Last month, the EPA lowered its health advisory levels for how much PFAS can be in the water supply, prompting that notice.
On hot days like this, a little water can go a long way in cooling you down. Every summer, splash pads like this one in Thornton are popular, but there's something in the city's water you might not have heard of.
We sent out a public notice to our residents informing them that we have levels of PFAS.
PFAS are forever chemicals that have been linked to some health conditions, even cancers. They're in everything from firefighting foam to clothing, carpets, food wrappers, and more. For years, the EPA standards were set at 70 parts per trillion for drinking water. Then last month, the EPA issued a new health advisory, lowering acceptable PFAS levels in drinking water from 70 parts per trillion to 0.004 for PFOA and 0.02 for PFAS.
You know, we were anticipating some low levels, but it really took the whole industry by surprise. And just to put parts per trillion into perspective, 1 part per trillion is the equivalent of 1 drop of dish detergent in the amount of dishwater that would fill a railroad car train 10 miles long.
Water treatment and quality manager Martin Kimmis says that Thornton's levels are at 5.4 parts per trillion for PFOA.
So basically 5 drops in a 10-mile long train.
The city doesn't even have an instrument that measures that low for the chemical, so it relies on a lab for testing. But Thornton isn't alone. Earlier this month, Frisco announced it too had high PFAS levels, and more cities are very likely on the way.
There are many more utilities within Colorado and outside of Colorado. This is not even a national problem. This is a global problem.
For now, Kimmis says the city is testing its water, looking for ways to remove PFAS from it, and trying to track down the source. But he doesn't want people to panic.
These health advisories aren't from like drinking a liter of water. They're over a lifetime.
And the EPA advisory is just guidance. Still, Thornton is taking it seriously for the safety of those who call this city home.
The city says you don't need to stop drinking the water, but if you are concerned about the PFAS levels, you can buy a water filter for your home, for instance, and you can also try to limit your PFAS exposure in other products, like maybe cosmetics or cookware. In Thornton, Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
And Colorado lawmakers have worked to tackle the issue of PFAS. Last month, Governor Polis signed a bill into law to address the sale of PFAS. The bill bans the sale of products containing the chemicals, and this includes household items, even firefighting agents. The bill goes into effect on January 1st, 2024.
New tonight, the arrest affidavit from a deadly police shooting in Inglewood says the man shot by police was caught in the crossfire. Sunday night, officers were called to a home near Bellevue and Federal in Inglewood. The affidavit says officers were called to check on Philip Blankenship, who was drunk and suicidal. They say when they tried to get Blankenship to come out, he fired one shot at officers. Those officers returned fire, hitting and killing Philip's brother, 22-year-old Matthew Mitchell. The affidavit says Matthew never fired any shots. Inglewood Police has denied many of our requests for comment, and the district attorney's office is taking over the investigation from here.
The public defender representing Jordan Waddy says she has serious concerns about how police handled an incident in downtown Denver last Sunday. Waddy appeared in court today to face a charge of possession of a firearm by a previous offender. Police say he flashed a gun at them in Lodo as bars were letting out, forcing them to fire at Waddy and into a crowd of people. 6 bystanders were hurt in the shooting. Now, Waddy is still in the hospital for treatment of injuries he received in that shooting. His bond has been set at $10,000.
A Contact Denver 7 alert tonight about student loan forgiveness. You've probably heard about the possibility of President Biden wiping out thousands of dollars in debt. Our consumer investigator Jacqueline Allen found students hoping for relief are instead getting ripped off.
I'm 20 years old.
When it comes to college and student loans,
I go to school at the University of Arizona Global Campus.
Ebony Smith's learning curve has been steep, coming from the top.
I'm in the process of taking a hard look at whether or not there will be additional debt forgiveness.
The possibility of student loan forgiveness on the Denver residents' radar because of President Biden's campaign promise.
I thought it was going to be that the loans were going to be forgiven totally.
That's why a call similar to this.
We've got some good news. You've been pre-qualified for the student loan forgiveness program.
Well, it seemed legitimate, and Ebony agreed to hundreds of dollars in payments.
You thought you were going to have your student loans paid off?
Yes. I thought that it was going directly towards my loans, which they said they were.
$400 later.
So they ran it for $1 first.
And then they ran it for $60.
She says she found out not a dime had gone to her debt.
It was very heartbreaking.
The FTC is warning about an increasingly popular scam they call student loan unforgiveness. They say scammers promise loan forgiveness for all, which does not exist yet.
Hi, this is Jacqueline Allen.
Contact Denver 7 did some digging into the company that took Ebony's money, Las Vegas-based Student Loan Doc, after they did not respond.
Disconnected. Is this company on the BBB's radar?
Yes, we've had them on file for quite a while and have been dealing with them for quite a while.
The BBB has given the company an F rating after dozens of complaints from customers who mistakenly thought their loans were being paid off.
They need to be wary of promises.
I contacted you guys because I really wanted to get the word out.
Ebony is disputing the charge with her bank. Going to school full-time while working part-time at Sephora is hard enough. She just wants others to learn from her learning curve.
Really just be careful because you never really know people's true intentions.
Here's the bottom line. Federal student loan forgiveness for all borrowers does not exist yet. Now, if that happens, you'll hear about it from the Department of Education, not a random call or text. Also, you don't ever need to pay for help. You can fill out the forms for free, and your loan servicer can answer any questions. For Contact Denver 7, I'm Jacqueline Allen.
Jacqueline, thank you. And here's some ways to know if it's a student loan scam. If the company asks you to pay money up front or pay monthly fees, if you're promised immediate student loan forgiveness, and if you're asked to provide your FSA ID or password.
All right, let's switch gears to Broncos country. Be sure to set your reminders for next Tuesday, 10 a.m.
Broncos half-price tickets go on sale. There will be 2,000 of them available for every home game, and you can only buy 4 tickets to 1 game per household.
Now, there's always a race to get the tickets, so make sure that you're ready to go right away next Tuesday morning.
Russell Wilson's talents will be on display with the start of training camp. We take you to the UC Health training facility as the Broncos Super Bowl dreams are about to get started.
Have some storms out there now. I think they may linger well into the night tonight.
Nearly all Marshall Fire victim stories are the same.
We almost had no time to grab everything that we could think of.
But not all have the same ending as this one.
Oh my gosh, oh my God.